What's up, you guys? Chase the Dark Sage here, and today we are back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 nasty man manga series. Oh yeah, this video is for the degenerates on the channel. But sadly, guys, the thing with YouTube is that, well, YouTube has these rules and they have these regulations, and I have to abide by them as a YouTuber myself. So if you want to see some of this stuff uncensored or hear me talk a bit uncensored about this stuff, go ahead, check out the Patreon or become a YouTube member or join the Discord. You can actually get the link to the uncensored version of these reviews, because I do have these available on Patreon and for the YouTube members as well. So yeah, some stuff is going to be a bit choppy, and I'm going to be cutting around and dodging a few words, and I'm going to have to be censoring some of myself because I don't want to get demonetized on this video. You get what I'm saying? So look out for your boy Sage. If you want to see that uncensored stuff, go to the Patreon and YouTube members. But besides that, I think that this is a very enjoyable video, and I wanted to show you guys and tell you guys about some of the nasty man manga series I've read or that I've had in my collection that I never really got to actually talk about on the channel itself. So before we actually get into the video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video if you haven't already as well. And don't forget to follow me on all my other social media platforms. All my links and the Patreon and the YouTube membership will be down in the description down below. Help your boy out. Like I said, all that stuff will be in the description down below. So, let's go ahead and get into this video. We'll be talking about The Witches of Adamas. Now, this series was recommended to me by my boy Kaz, the advocate of the holy text. Yes, sir. And he knew the Nasty Man needed more Nasty Man series within the collection. And Witches of Adamas is a series I've had in my collection for a little bit now. And honestly, I've been putting off reading it because I've been binging a lot of my other shonen series. But I gave this one volume a go around, and honestly, I enjoyed it. This is a very nasty series. Now, this series is basically about the main protagonist, who is a guy, and one day while he sees that a diamond comes out. At first, he thinks it's a kidney stone, and it's just very weird because the glitch says some diamond. He takes it to go get appraised, and he sees that this diamond is worth, I believe, like 1,000,000 yen. So obviously it's a lot of money. The diamond is actually worth something. But he later goes on to the doctor because he does pass out randomly because he produces 2 more of these diamonds from doing the do. And he's realized that he's contracted this disease called the Adamas syndrome, meaning that he gets the kizzy. You get it, the cash. He gets some bread because obviously he's producing diamonds. But the side effects of this disease come with him losing a year off of his total lifespan. Now, that's insane. Now, if I was in his position, I wouldn't last. I probably lived till I was like 27. And I'm 26. Nonetheless, this man's jewels, his family jewels, are actually worth something. And sooner or later, the girls that are around him or in his vicinity also figure this out, and they want some diamonds as well. They want to make a quick buck off of him, and he can't actually at all. Like, anytime he will be losing a year off his life. So he's basically trying to become like abstinent, so that way he can actually have a family later on in life, because the disease will only last 3 years. But if you actually do the do, he's prolonging his disease and keeping it longer. So therefore, he has to stop completely, not beat the glizz, and he has to just be chill for 3 years. Like I said, I am 26. I would have died at 27 because I would have died a very, very rich man. I would say that my kids would have been grateful, but no, my kids would have been grateful. They would have been really grateful. I would have been rich like Bill Gates. Now, like I said, this is going to be a Dark Sage quickie, meaning I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts and overview of this volume right here. And honestly, the artwork is there. The artwork is really there. Trust me, there's a good amount of artwork. There's a good amount of juicy artwork at that. There are some color pages, which I was very surprised to see. You know, my boy Cass said that there's a good amount of color pages. And honestly, he wasn't lying when he said that, because I was astonished at how many color pages were actually in this volume. I have not seen a manga volume with this many color pages unless it was fully covered, which is very rare. But for a 7 Seas title, I honestly enjoyed it. This wasn't wordy at all. Like I said, the artwork is there, and some of the girls, they do be baddies, especially the doctor. She is the baddest one out of all of them so far. I don't have volume 2 yet, but I should be ordering it soon. Honestly, I enjoy Witches of Adamas. If you are a nasty man, you want a nasty read, and you basically just want to see this guy get teased the whole series while these girls somehow get off, you'll enjoy Witches of Adamas. Worlds and Harem is one of the first Nasty Man series I've actually read that actually has a coherent story. And the plot behind Worlds and Harem is that this MK virus has come across mankind and, well, has killed all the men in the world. Hence the name MK virus. MK, man killing. I thought that was clever. Not really. But in this story, the man-killing virus has come and wiped humanity of but 4 men. And they've only wiped the men away. The women have still been here, surviving and living. And while the world has gone to a bit of a ruin, the world is being held up by women, and some women are just so evil in this story. But either way, this society is being run by women since there's only like 4 men actually living at the time of this manga right here. And these men's task, once they're kind of waking up out of this cryogenic like sleep state, they're tasked to repopulate the earth. And they can have any woman that they want of their choosing. If that was me, man, I'd be having a huge family reunion. Now, honestly, when it comes to the characters of this story, I will say that there's only one standout. The main character himself is very cliche. He's very boring. He's your, I'm doing good and I'm protecting myself until I get with the right woman that I promised my virginity to. And I'm just like, dude, there's all these women out here. What are you doing? I would have been destroyed everything in sight. Which brings me to my actual favorite character in this series, who has to be Doikun. And Doikun is this nerd who was basically slept on and picked on while everybody was living in high school. But once he comes out of that cryogenic sleep-like state and he comes back into the world how it is now, oh, this boy has a glow up. All the women want him, and he just uses that to his advantage. Now, I'm not saying that he takes advantage. I'm saying he uses that to his advantage because the women want him and he wants the women. You see where the middle ground can actually be met right there? I like that middle ground. Doikun is one of my favorite characters. He's one of these characters where you understand his motives behind what he does. And I'm not saying he's evil or anything like that. The person who actually monitors him, because each of these guys have a woman monitor to actually watch them and keep them safe, she's evil. And we'll see what happens with that in part 2, because in part 1 they were scheming, but in part 2 I can't wait for Afterworld to come out. As it came out in English as of right now while I'm recording this video, but I can't wait for that to come out because all 12 volumes are actually published right now in English are only of part 1, kind of like how Chainsaw Man is from volumes 1 through 11. Now this story, it does have an overall arcing story, and I obviously don't know it all yet because, like I said, I haven't read anything of part 2. But all of part 1, I will say that I did enjoy for the most part. The women are there. The artwork is definitely there as well, especially with like each volume's first page being like a little color spread of some of the women. And can I tell you how my boy Doikun is a freak? I'm gonna stop talking about Doikun, but the Doikun's my boy, trust me. If you read the series, Doikun will be your boy too. You understand him. And the 2 other guys that are alive, one is just your average guy that's just, you know, doing his thing to repopulate the world, and he's happy to become a father. And then there's some other guy that this cult get a hold on, and it just adds this whole unnecessary supernatural element that I definitely didn't like. I feel like that they took advantage of him, literally. It was forcing him to do things. Now, I know that that won't be some people's style, but it's not like overtly like, oh, he's very traumatized from it. He's just in a really effed up situation where he can't get out of it. That's his thing. He can't get out of this whole situation. He doesn't really care for populating the whole earth. He's just like, these people are holding me captive and making me do what they want me to do. So yeah, the 2 other guys really ain't worth talking about because they're not really developed within this story. They're the average guys. What really happens in the story is split between the 2 characters of the main character, I forgot his name because he's just so forgettable, and my boy Doikun when, you know, he's just going through his whole glow up. When we have volumes of just Doikun action happening, and I mean Doikun action, those are the peak volumes right there. Those are some really great volumes. That right there is a great premise on its own. I do feel like the ending for part 1 of Worlds and Harem is a bit rushed, and it just feels so flat once you get there. But like I said, this is part 1 of a story. I don't know how many parts there's going to be, but I know that part 2 is currently actually going in whatever manga magazine that it's running in. But honestly, I can't wait to read part 2. I just want to see more of my boy Doikun and what that one monitor that's actually watching him has up her sleeve. Like, do you just want world domination? You're not really going to be dominating much, but I do know that Japan has the most living males, so there's that weird aspect right there. But yeah, like I said, Worlds and Harem is the first series that's a Nasty Man series that I read that actually has a coherent story. There's characters that you actually follow, you grow with them, as much as you do. Like I said, my boy Doikun is my favorite character. Overall, this was a very enjoyable series. It's a very quick read. It's not wordy at all. And like I said, once you get to the parts where my boy Doikun comes in action, the mangaka gets in some detail of what he be doing. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, let me know if you're actually gonna check out Worlds and Harem. I have some reading logs where I have talked about Worlds and Harem here and there, but I never really talked about it in full or gave it its own review. So I guess this will be the one video where I'm actually talking about it. Booty Royale. And I know a lot of people think I'm talking about Battle Royale and they think that I'm calling it booty. No, I actually mean Booty Royale. And this series is, wow, probably one of the nastiest things that I've read in my collection. And honestly, I really enjoy it. Each chapter that I read from the series is basically like a mini episode, and it gives me enough content to where I'm either like, I really do like that. Or sometimes I'm just like, that was really in a manga. Let me go to the next chapter and see what happens. And that's something that you get with Booty Royale. You get a mix of various things. And this series is about the main girl who, I want to say, thank the Lord that the mangaka made her over the age of 18. Because a lot of Nasty Man series have these women under the age of 18. And so you kind of get that little weird feeling of like, how should I be looking at it like this? But thankfully, this main character right here, the girl, I forgot her name at the time of me recording this video, she is pronounced over the age of 18. I believe she's actually 19. And she basically wants to be a superstar. She wants to be a celebrity. And I can respect that, you know what I'm saying? Her dream is to be a singer. It doesn't necessarily work out like that. And when she actually signs up for a management / talent agency, they kind of do some sleazy things and put her under a contract that she, well, can't get herself out of. And this leads her to actually being forced into doing gravure modeling. And that basically means like really skimpy bikini modeling. But that soon teeters the line when they start forcing her into, oh, I forgot, I'm uncensored. When they start forcing her into basically. And there's just some very sick stuff that I get that will turn some people off from reading this manga, but the manga itself doesn't take itself seriously. So if you're going into Booty Royale, I'm not saying that's gonna promote, but I will say there's a lot of suggestion saying that, hey, we're gonna force ourselves upon her. That's the main point of this actual chapter right here. And I'm just like, okay, that's enough Booty Royale for the night. But overall, I still enjoyed the series itself. It's very lighthearted, it's very fun, it's very nasty, and I gotta talk about some of the things I actually like with this series. Now, first off, I actually gotta say that I really do like the main character. She's sexy, but she's able to fight as well. And I kind of like the fact that there is a few action panels within this manga. I'm not gonna say they're the greatest thing I've ever seen, but to see a naked chick fighting, you know, in my manga, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be too mad at that. You get what I'm saying? Another thing is that, well, this manga is nasty. You see the main character naked plenty of times, and I will say that this kind of pushes the boundaries of actual nastiness itself. There is one part, and since I'm able to say it uncensored right here, she gets, yeah, it goes that far. And there's other plenty of instances where like someone she befriends wants to essentially or, and it just creates for these funny moments. And like I said, some people that could be putting off for them, and I get why, but the manga itself doesn't take itself seriously, so I wouldn't let that be a deterring factor for you, but I understand how that can be uncomfortable for some people. And another pro I also gotta say is that I honestly like the artwork. Like I said before, this is pretty nasty. There's a lot of nudity in here. There's this one lolly chick where every time I look at her, I kind of get a little bit uncomfortable, but whenever I do see the main character, it puts a smile on my face. Ooh, in many ways, more than one. Overall, I gotta say, I really like Booty Royale. I do have the first 2 omnibuses, which contain the first 4 volumes. And honestly, it's a very fun read. It takes a while to get through some of those chapters because honestly, those chapters are pretty meaty. Pun intended. They're pretty meaty, meaning there's a lot of content within one chapter. Some chapters are like 2-parters where basically you get one part of this chapter and another part of the chapter make a whole story arc / saga, I guess. Like I said, this is a very episodic manga. There's no real story. This woman wants to be a celebrity, and she ends up becoming a celebrity through this failed, but actually goes, I guess, somewhat viral because she starts to beat up all the men in there. So I like it. Overall, it's pretty nasty. Like I said, this is very 18 plus. Like, no kids should be reading this at all. But let me know what your thoughts are on Booty Royale if you actually checked it out or read it, or if you're thinking about reading it. I know a lot of people see the cover and they're like, I can never have this in my collection. Well, you can live vicariously through me, and I'll just tell you what happens in Booty Royale. Do you like big girls? And oh my lord, this manga right here is one of my favorite Nasty Man manga series. And you know, I really don't like to put that label on a lot of Nasty Man series because while I do indulge in the nasty, you gotta keep some of the culture, you know, at a pristine level. And Do You Like Big Girls is definitely up in that level because literally what you get with Do You Like Big Girls, you get what the title says. Do you like big girls? And honestly, if you don't like it, don't get the manga. But if you do like it, you will get some type of fetish for a woman that's taller than you, like some Megan Thee Stallion or some She-Hulk type figure. You don't want them to step on you, you'll probably call them a Dami Mommy. I'm just saying, I'm warning you right now. But Do You Like Big Girls is a series about a guy who somehow becomes the head of the volleyball team. And in order for him to be the head of the volleyball team, he has to live in the same dorm room, because they're adults. He has to live in the same dorm room or dorm house, I don't know what they call it. He has to live in that same household vicinity with all these girls. And the mangaka does not make you like wait for him to woo one of these girls. They don't make you wait for you to actually, you know, see these girls naked or see them go into very sexual activities. No, every single girl on the volleyball team eventually sleeps with this guy. I swear to God, he's living every man's dream right now. One of the things I love about this series is that it's a harem manga, and it's not afraid to be a harem manga. In fact, all the girls sleep with him, and they all know. Like, it's not a confusing thing. Now, once the feelings actually start getting involved, it becomes a different story because he has his eyes set on one girl. He wants to sleep with that one girl, but eventually ends up sleeping with other girls. It comes out for a great nasty story each chapter. And I will say that the artwork in here, the artwork is pretty good in this as well. The main character isn't someone that I'm really attached to or fond of, but basically he's a vehicle for all of us guys, you know what I'm saying, to live our fantasies out of. Because honestly, if I was the head, if I was in his position, if I was the head of the volleyball team myself, oh man, I'd be an empty man. And I don't mean empty as in soulless. Well, I mean, they will take the soul out of me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that I'll be a very empty man because these girls leave him satisfied. These girls know how to pleasure this guy. Each of them have their different kinks. Each of them have their different likes. And you know, over the series, you get to pick your favorite waifu. Everybody's waifu is definitely going to be different. No one's going to have the same waifu unless you're looking at the front covers. Then yeah, she's a Dami Mommy too. But don't cop out and pick the easy choice. You're going to have to go ahead and go through one of the other girls. And I will say that I only read the first 2 volumes of Do You Like Big Girls. I have all 4 that are out currently as I'm recording this video. There was one weird thing that happened at the end of volume 2, and I'm just gonna briefly talk about it real quick. If you don't want spoilers, go ahead, go to the later part where you don't see the little spoiler tag happening right here. But there is this one part in the series where, and I'm thinking this is a translation issue itself, where one of the girls on the volleyball team is his sister. And in the story so far, he hasn't slept with her, but people are kind of forcing them to get together so she can sleep with him. But like I said, I don't think that's his actual sister, because at the beginning of the series, she asks him to go on a date, and she's the one who actually puts him as the head of the volleyball team itself. So it'd be very weird, and I think it's a translation issue more than an actual really related issue, some taboo type stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's his actual sister, and I think she more so has him in the friend zone. I think it's a friendly brother-sister type of relationship dynamic, but either way, that'd be very weird if that's his actual sister. I could be wrong though, it could actually be a sister, and it could take a weird turn, and I don't want it to go that turn. I kind of want it to stay on the straight and narrow. And by straight and narrow, I'm talking about him climbing all them trees, baby, because like I said earlier, the artwork is good, and you're gonna want to be this main character at some point in your life. Heck, let me not say that. I'm taking man. But that's about it for me actually talking about Do You Like Big Girls. Do You Like Big Girls definitely has the artwork. It definitely gets into the nitty gritty with all the sexual acts that they get into, and I really enjoy it. It does not really hold your hand. They force him into sleeping with all the girls, and I really enjoy it. Alright guys, but that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel and you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like the video. And if you want to see some of this stuff uncensored and see a 5 to 6 minute video slash first impression slash review on some of these things, go ahead, join the Patreon or become a YouTube member where you can see all this stuff uncensored, and the B-roll that was censored previously, you can see that uncensored on the Patreon slash YouTube membership as well. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching, and as usual, I gotta go ahead and give a huge shout out to my Patreon pledgers for going ahead and financially supporting the channel, guys. I highly appreciate what you guys are doing for me, financially donating on Patreon. And I gotta give a huge shout out to the YouTube members for also financially donating on the YouTube side of things as well. Big shout out to Broke Boy Gang as always. And I get it if some of you guys can't, you know, afford the YouTube membership for the Patreon. that's cool. Make sure you like the video and you watch the video all the way through. But if you can, you want to be nasty and see all the other stuff and be a degenerate like me, go ahead, join the Patreon and the YouTube membership. I say thank you guys for watching. Dark Sage out. Peace.